What's up YouTube, it's Geoffrey again, and today we're doing another creepypasta. And today we are doing Pingu's Punishment. I'm gonna read it for word style. Let's do this thing. Most people grew up with a happy little show called Pingu. It was a show that had a clay penguin named Pingu, and it showed his adventures. The characters spoke some sort of penguin language. The original show ran from 1986 to 1998. There was apparently an unreleased episode that was released a year later. Now this is where it starts to become interesting. When I was 5 or 6, I saw the beginning of a Pingu episode called Pingu's Punishment. I only saw a bit of it, and all I remember was that Pingu was very angry and his mother began destroying plates. I also remember the episode about Pingu playing outside when he was supposed to be doing chores. My mama came in and at the plate smashing part, shut off the TV and told me that dinner was ready. I was looking up the episode on Wikipedia to find out that no episode called Pingu's Punishment had existed or was released. I thought of this as an adventure to myself, and I contacted Trick Film Studio, the company that made the show, and I asked them for a complete production guide of Pingu. They sent it to me through email. I looked at it compared to Wikipedia's list and noticed that something was wrong with the final series. Pingu Helps Grandpa, which was the 23rd episode of Series 4, was missing. At the bottom of the list was a episode called Pingu Ending. I asked for a synopsis, but they refused to give me one, stating it was personal information. I then googled Pingu Ending and Pingu's Punishment, and then I found something. It was on RapidShare. The file's name was Pingu's Punishment, unreleased last episode.zip, and I downloaded it. I went to my downloads, I found the folder. It contained 2 files. One was a notepad file, and it was titled fear.txt. I opened it and it read, "This is a unreleased episode of Pingu dated April 11, 1998. This originally planned to be the ending of the series, and this was actually released in some countries. Watch at your own risk." I began to feel a bit suspicious and my heart pounded, but my curiosity overtook me. I opened the second file, an AVI file. The first part was the same episode that I saw as a kid. However, something felt off. The theme song was distorted, and instead of Pingu's usual newt to newt, there was backwards audio, and I recorded it with sound recorder, and it played "You Can't Survive This Beyond Death." I found that very creepy, but continued with the video. I got to the part where Pingu's mother was smashing plates. Suddenly, it cut to black. A blood-curdling scream was heard. It faded to black, back to the kitchen. Pingu's mom was sitting on the stool crying, only it sounded real. She began crying, but it started to sound like laughing. Suddenly, it cut to Pinga, who is Pingu's sister. Pinga was lying down on the floor. Her head was ripped off. I paused it there. I felt sick. But what made me sick was more that it wasn't clay blood. It was either food coloring or it was real. I continued the video. Pingu's mom kept crying. Suddenly, it cut to a black and white video of 2 scientists entering a slaughterhouse. It showed a bunch of cows getting slaughtered. Suddenly, it showed a penguin being stunned and then being put upside down. They slit the penguin's throat and it died from blood loss. It then began showing pictures of dead penguins. It then cut back to Pingu's mom crying. A trampoline was in the kitchen as well as a fan. She jumped up the fan and blood splattered everywhere. The body of Pingu's mom fell down. It showed pictures of the dead bodies of Pingu, Robbie, and the other characters. An old music box playing Hush Little Baby played faintly. I paused to go to the bathroom to vomit. I felt really nauseous and sick after witnessing what I just saw. I continued the video. A distorted voice said something backwards. I recorded it and played in reverse, and it said, "Your life will be all pitch black in a few seconds. You must be smart enough to play this backwards because you're stupid enough to believe me." My chest pounded. The credits were in Times New Roman. The background continued to show disturbing pictures. It closed with the background of a mask with red eyes. This mask suddenly said in distorted tone, "Darkness starts now." Suddenly, my PC froze and then the lights flickered and the power went out. The power came back on within a few seconds later. I was now shaking and wanted to find the source of this film. I contacted with Carlos Benami, the voice of all the characters, and I pretended it was an interview and I talked about Pingu. And I finally mentioned Pingu's punishment. He stopped and he asked me where I had heard that before. I explained the entire thing to him. He then told me the story. During the 4th season of Pingu, there was a writer/animator named Ted Goldman. He was a quiet man who usually wasn't that sociable. Sometimes, during the middle of the season, Ted's mom had been trying to reach something from the upper shelf. The ceiling fan was still on. She got decapitated. Ted was immediately hurt by this. He began submitting morbid ideas such as Pingu killing all the other characters. He even asked Benami to do a voice of Pingu dying. Goldman found out that Pingu was closing production at the end of the season. Ted passed off this episode as the series finale. Right after they had watched the episode, they discovered that Ted was being charged with animal cruelty, bestiality, and murder. Ted left a apparent suicide note claiming he was going to live in Antarctica. However, no records claim he was ever there, and he was last spotted in Santa Barbara, California, purchasing a gun. They never found him. I was left shocked. I then had a thought occurred to me to play the entire episode backwards, starting from the part where the distorted voice began. I heard a scream, a shout, and a very eerie voice that said, so that still haunts me to this day. "The only way out of this hell is suicide." Well, that was pretty morbid. Now, all cliches aside, this was a pretty good episode, or story episode for Pingu. I mean, I haven't heard of Pingu creepypastas, but this is like a first. Technically, I was wondering if there was any, and I noticed this story, so I decided to give it a read. Now, the thing that really surprised me was the Ted Goldman guy. This is gonna be the biggest plot twist to you guys and gals on YouTube. I actually did a reading of the Teletubbies, The Playground, and Ted appears at the end of that story, so is this like some kind of is this like a story that actually has the other person viewer's story like in the same world? Probably so, or probably not. I mean, it's just a creepypasta, and you can't really expect things. Okay, now the thing that kind of gave me a bit of a shock was the slaughterhouse. Okay, let's get to that. Slaughterhouses are meant to be for cows and pigs and chickens. But a penguin? Hell no, you shouldn't kill a penguin. One, that's illegal. I mean, why? Why the hell would you kill a penguin and get away with it? That's just wrong. Seeing animals, dying, it just hurts people's hearts, okay? And I know people at PETA would understand this, because, people at PETA are, people for the ethical treatment of animals in long terms, but enough sides of that. Let's just get to the final cliche. The suicide note. Who would consider living in Antarctica? Because Antarctica is a super cold place, and if you were to live there, to live in Antarctica, you would need, oh damn good, like, amount of winter clothes. Otherwise, if you were to walk in Antarctica just in regular clothes, you'd automatically die of hypothermia or freeze to death. So, I just don't understand it. Anyways, I hope you like this creepypasta, and which one would you want me to read next? This is Geoffrey Sambursky signing out, and remember guys to have a happy October. And remember, I might do one of these for Halloween.